Hello trader, welcome to this video today. So if you are new to this channel, my name is Anthony. So here on this channel, we focus on market analysis, whereby we do the market structure using the SMC concept. If that is something that you would like to learn, I only have one request for you. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, kindly make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified immediately you upload a new video. So without wasting time, let's get down to the market and see what the market has to offer. So in front of us, we are going to start our analysis on the DXY. All right. So looking at the DXY from the daily time frame, we can see that the DXY is very bullish because this is the area that we had a change of character. Later on, we saw the DXY giving us a break of structure to the upside. So you can see that this is a very strong low since it swept this internal liquidity before pushing up to give us a break of structure. So you know very well, once you have marked your point of interest, once you have identified the bias of the market, that is from the higher time frame, so you need to mark your key levels. All right. So what is our key level? These are the areas that we expect to see a reversal from. All right. All right. So when marking the points of interest, we normally do, if you have been here, you know how we do it. So first of all, you need to pick our Fibonacci 2, place from the swing high all the way to the swing low, or like that. Then the idea of doing this is for you to identify where is the premium and where is the discount. So if the market is bullish, like we can see there here, the market is very bullish. So when you are marking the points of interest, ensure that you mark a point of interest that is resting at least at the equilibrium and below. Or in other words, mark a point of interest that is resting at the discount. But when the market is bearish, you only mark the point of interest that is resting at the premium. Because the idea of doing this is you know very well that you want to sell when the price is high, you want to buy when the price is low. All right. So you can see here, from what I have here on my chart, you can see that I've marked this point of interest that is resting at the equilibrium. And also I've marked this extreme order block here that is resting at the discount zone, also resting at the discount zone. So this is what you call indecision or POI, and this is what you call an extreme point of interest. All right. So these are the two areas that I was expecting to see a reaction, a DXY giving me a reaction. All right. But am I going to start buying once I see the DXY has reacted from this area? Am I supposed to do like this? Place your entry from there and then target this high? No, 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 no. Because at this point of time, we have no idea whether this market is going to use this point of interest or this extreme point of interest. Now, this one takes us to the next part of our analysis, whereby now we go to lower time frame. All right. Remember, we are doing the top-down analysis. All right. Starting analysis from the higher time frame as you proceed down to the lower time frame. All right. So, and I told you guys that you need to have at least three time frame that you trade or that you use as a trader. So first of all, you need your bias time frame. That is the higher time frame that you normally go there to identify the bias of the market. Then you need a middle time frame. That is where that is the time frame that you will be trading as an intraday trader. All right. So if, for instance, that you are intraday trader like me, so you can decide to have time frame like daily time frame, 4-hour time frame, for your analysis and marking the point of interest maybe, and then you have 15 minutes time frame, whereby you go to the 15 minutes time frame or daily time frame, depending on which time frame you have marked your POI. For instance, like this one of ours, we have marked our POIs from daily. All right. So we are supposed to go to the 1-hour time frame to wait for confirmation. If you have a problem when it comes to time frame alignment, I do have a video on this channel. So find the video on this channel that talks about the time frame alignment. And I hope and I believe you will get informed on how to do the multi time frame alignment. At least you have to understand. Since I've marked this time I've marked my key level from this time frame. Which time frame am I supposed to go to wait for my confirmation? Because if you mess up with the time frames, I'm telling you, the market is going to manipulate you. All right. So you need to understand which time frame am I supposed to go to for me to wait for my confirmation. All right. So that one being said, what have we said? We have said that since the market is now currently reacting from this area, but are we going to take an entry blindly? No. So we need to go to our entry time frame now and wait for market to give us a confirmation. All right. So what confirmation are we supposed to look for here? So if you have been following me for a while, you know which time the kind of confirmation that we normally use. And I uploaded a video on Sunday that talks about entry and also session trading. So if you also have a challenge on that part, kindly make sure to watch to revisit the video. Watch the video slowly by slowly, and as you make the short notes, and make sure you do a lot of practice, and it will make sense with time. All right. So now, since we are supposed to go to the 1 hour, that's the time frame I'm going to go to. So once you go to the 1 hour time frame, I'm expecting to see a W formation. So what is a W formation? This is what we need to see. All right. So we need to see market giving us a break of structure, right? That is our BOS. We need to see market giving us a breakout structure, then market pushing higher to break this previous high, because this is our lower low, lower high, and then we have a lower low. So we need to see market creating a change of character, or market violating our previous lower highs here, right? Giving us what you call a market structure shift or a change of character. So this is what we are waiting for as our confirmation, a W formation. So looking at what is happening currently here, what are we seeing the DXY doing? We can see that DXY swept this low. We have a sell side liquidity being swept, and then market came to sweep the buy side liquidity before pushing to give us a break of structure at the downside. That is to mean this is our protected high as at this point of time. We have that high as our protected high. So what do you expect? If this market really wants to buy from this point of interest, then at least it should push high and break this high. So until we break this high, I'm still bearish, because internally I'm seeing a bearish breakout structure to the downside. So it won't be wise for me to start forcing buys, because market has not given us an intention of buying yet. So it means we are still bearish until the market decides to break this high and continue pushing up to the ups, continue pushing higher. So at this point of time, since as a retail trader, we are not predicting the market. We are reacting to what the market is currently doing. And looking at what the market is currently doing, I can see that you are very bearish because of this breakout structure. So I will be trading what I see. And from what I can see that we are having this order block here from 1 hour, right? So we have that order block where the market is currently reacting from, of which we have the liquidity below our point of interest. All right, so we have that as our liquidity, and the market is currently reacting from this order block. All right, so another thing I need to ask myself, is this order block resting at the right place? When I say the right place, I mean, is it resting at least from the 50% and above, or at the premium? So I need to pick my fib. I place from the swing high all the way to the swing low. And if you look closely, this point of interest is resting at the premium. Again, since I'm not very sure that this market is going to use this demand zone to fuel the buy and take out this high. So I'm not also going to take my entry here blindly. I need to see this movement. And if you look closely, guys, if you compare this movement to the downside and this push to the upside, you can really tell that buyers are really struggling to push this market high. Right? You can see that the market is forming a trend to the as is going to the upside. So it looks like this is a pullback, right? So now what I need to see is that this internal structure, which is our pullback now, when you go to the lower time frame, like 5 minutes time frame, we are going to see that the market is very bullish. All right. Why is the 5 minutes bullish? 5 minutes is bullish to facilitate the pullback of the 1 hour swing. 1 hour swing, we are bearish. So whatever is happening from the lower time frame is the pullback. So you need to understand these things, guys. All right. So when I go to the 5 minutes time frame, what am I seeing? Are you seeing a trend? Because from the 5 minutes time frame, this is our last BOS. And since then, the market gave us a change of character, and you have been filming a series of higher highs and higher lows. All right. But since I don't like the lower time frames that much, I'm going to use the 15 minutes time frame. Because also, when I go to the 4 hour time frame, I want to show you something. When I go to the 4 hour time frame, we can see that the market is reacting from a 4 hour fair value gap. Do you see this one? We have this as an FVG there, or our fair value gap. We are seeing the multiple rejection from that area. The market is finding it difficult to break this zone. All right. So what are we expecting to see? Since now we are not going to take our entries blindly. All right. So this is our fair value gap. Let me identify it. We have that one is on FVG. So what am I going to do? Since this is a 4-hour fair value gap, I'm going to use the 15 minutes time frame to wait for my confirmation. Looking at the 15 minutes time frame, this is our last BOS. If I extend this one, and also guys, this is not a break. I know there are those people who use this one as a break. This is not a break. This is a sweep of liquidity. Market broke a structure once it closed above. You see here, this is where the market closed above. So now we have a bullish BOS here from the 15 minutes time frame, which also swept this liquidity here. So you have a sweep of liquidity and then a break. That is to mean this low here is a very strong low, or is our protected low from the 15 minutes time frame. So if this market wants to sell, what do I need to see? I need to see a push that breaks this low. So once we break this low, that will be our confirmation, guys. So if this market wants to sell, then it has to break this low. So once we have a break of this low, we'll have a market structure shift. And that is when we'll say this market is ready to sell. So because what can happen now? So market can decide to push down, right? Maybe to come and sweep this liquidity, or maybe this relative equal lows here, because you can see those one as a relative equal lows. Market can decide to push lower, sweep this liquidity, and then continue going up. So we need to see the market giving us an indication, because that is the only language that we retail traders, we communicate with the smart money, or the hedge funds, or the market movers, all right, through the market structure. Okay, so now we need to see the market breaking this low for us to get a change of character. Then we wait for a pullback and we join the market to the downside. So having that analysis from this time frame, or having analysis from the DXY, we have said that DXY is bearish. The internal structure of the DXY is bearish because of this break of structure. All right. So, and we have said we'll not be looking for any buying opportunity until the market breaks this high, because we know. Let me go to the 4-hour. We know that from the 4-hour time frame, or even from the daily time frame, market can decide to push lower, because if you go to the 4-hour daily time frame, there is no liquidity within this impulsive move to the upside. So market can decide to push lower, sweep these relative equal lows, all right, or take out this liquidity first, either this minor inducement or this other minor inducement here, or takes all of them before starting to push up to the upside. Right? That is something that you have in mind. That is a scenario that can happen. So that is why if the market will give me that confirmation around this area from the 15 minutes time frame, I'll be looking to sell this market to the downside. If we break this high, then I will be looking for buys. So at this point, what can we say? So since we have the analysis on DXY, how can we use that one to our advantage when it comes to the dollar pairs? So you expect the dollar pairs to be bullish at this point. All right. Why are we expecting the dollar to be bullish? Because the market is currently bearish on DXY. So let's now go to the Euro USD and see what the Euro USD is doing. So looking at the Euro USD, I'm going to start my analysis from the daily time frame. What are we seeing? So unlike DXY, Euro USD never tapped to this order block that we have seen on DXY. So, but currently we are seeing that it's kind of reacting from this fair value gap that we are seeing around this area. And we are seeing a rejection from that area. But a rejection is not enough. All right. So we need to see the structure aligning with the external structure or the swing structure. Because in terms of swing, we are very bearish because of this break of structure to the downside. And if I pick my Fibonacci, I place from this high to the low. Also, unlike DXY, Euro USD never tapped the 50%. But since these pairs, they follow what is happening on the DXY. So there is high chances that this pair will fail to come to this 50%. Just gives you a change of character here, and then we continue selling. Since the DXY has already reacted to the 50%, so anything can happen. All right. But if you decide to push a little bit up to this key point of interest, then well and good. We'll just follow what the market is currently doing. All right. So I'm going to go to the 1-hour time frame now. Are you seeing now? What have we said the DXY is doing? The DXY is selling. So are we buying on the Euro USD? You can see very clearly that we are very bullish because this is the last internal break of structure to the upside, right? And currently, we are seeing that the market has already tapped to this order block here. We have this 1 hour order block from this time frame. If I pick my fib, let me see whether we have traded to the 50%. Absolutely. We have already tapped to the 50%. All right. So if the DXY will give us that change of character, although from the Euro USD has not given us a break to the downside still. We don't have a break to the downside. So the last internal break of structure is this one. So I'm still expecting a little bit push to the downside because you can see we have an inversion fair value gap. Market can see decide to have that deeper uh, push to these areas. We have an order block down here and you have an inversion fair value gap. All right. So maybe we might see the Euro USD pushing a little bit deep into this zone. And then if it decide to give us a change of character, we look for buying opportunity to the upside to target this high. All right. If the market decides to sell and take out this low, if the market breaks this low, then we'll have a change of character. Absolutely. So if the market decides to push low and takes out this low, we'll have a change of character. And that when we'll conclude that the market might not be coming to this order block here. All right. So that is my analysis on Euro USD. Let's look at the GBP USD. All right. So from the GBP USD, all right. So we saw this market coming to take out this liquidity. We had this zone as liquidity up there. And we see that the DXY came, GBP USD came to this tiny fair value gap. We have a very tiny fair value gap around that area. So it reacted from there and then gave us this internal change of character. Let's go to the 4-hour. When you go to the 4-hour time frame, what are we seeing? These are very strong BOS because it saved this internal liquidity before pushing to give us a break. Later on, gave us a change of character. Currently, we are seeing the back. I was anticipating for it to push a little bit into this zone. I have this one as my order block, and then I had this one as my liquidity, whereby I can see we have a fair value gap around that area above that liquidity. And that is where this pair is reacting from. All right. But that is not enough for me. Market reacting from that area is not a confirmation that the market is going to use that area. So I need to see the structure aligning. All right. I need to see the market respecting this key zone by giving me an M formation or a change of character. When I look at the 1-hour time frame, 1 hour is still bullish because we have this break of structure which swept this fractal liquidity. So we have this fractal low as liquidity or being used as liquidity. And then market broke the structure. Currently, we are reacting from this zone. See, the market is giving a reaction from that area. The same thing that is happening on Euro USD. So going to the lower time frame from 15 minutes time frame. Okay, what are we seeing? So from the 15 minutes time frame, we have seen we have a fractal break of structure here. So these are fractal BOS. And then we are having a fractal change of character already. So unlike Euro USD and the DXY, GBP USD seems to be the leading pair, while the Euro USD is a lagging pair is at this point because we have the fractal break, fractal change of character already. So let's see what is currently happening. We have that one as a change of character. So where do we expect to see a reaction from? Let's go to the 1 hour. So from 1 hour time frame, we have this order block here as your POI that you expect the market to come to that area and you expect reaction. And then we have this resistance zone around that area. We see the market came to that zone, pushed down, came, reacted, pushed down. We broke, came and retested that zone. So these are the two areas to watch out for. The market decided to come to this area. You also need to see a confirmation from that area because don't forget, this was just a fractal change of character. This is not a good break of structure here because you don't have a 3 candlestick pullback. All right. So market might be coming to react from this order block here. Sorry. So market might be coming to react from this order block or maybe this fair value gap around this area. You can see we have already filled this gap and currently not yet at that point, but currently What are we seeing? We are seeing the market has already filled this gap. If I pull it to the downside like this, you can see that we have filled that fair value gap. And currently it's giving out a reaction from that area. So maybe market will might be coming just to react from this area and then push to the downside. So if the market wants to use this one, this fractal change of character here, so we have to watch out what the market will do around this area. If it violates this zone, we'll wait for it around this area and then we look for lower time frame confirmation, that is from either 5 minutes time frame or from this time frame before you look for any buying opportunity. I don't know what you think about this, so maybe you can tell me on the comment section. What is your bias on GBP USD? All right, let's meet on the comment section. So moving to the next pair, it's gonna be BTC USD. For the Bitcoin traders, let's see what the market is doing. All right, looking at the Bitcoin as at now, we saw that we had the market giving us this break of structure here. All right, so we had this order block here. All right, we have this order block from the 4-hour, which I got a confirmation from the lower time frame here, from the 15 minutes time frame. I took a little buy here last week. We had this BOS. You see, we had that BOS. So for me, when I took that buy from that area, I was only targeting this order block here. Because I knew very well, since this is the last internal break of structure, before market, if the market wants to continue buying, then it has to violate this order block first. And you saw that the market came to this order block and it's currently reacted from that order block. And you see what happened? Market reversed it back. And instead of pushing to give us this break to the upside, the market pushed down to give a break to the downside. So at this point, it means that the sellers are still in control of this market. And if I look closely, let's see whether we have a break now from the 4-hour. Let's see whether the market has given us a break to the downside. Not yet. We have no break to the downside yet. But internally we have a break of structure because we have this one. We have this break of structure here to the downside, right? Of which is a very good break of structure because we are seeing market sweeping this eye. We have a sweep of that eye before the break to the downside, meaning now we have this one as our protected high. Remember, we are trading what we are seeing. I have this one as my order block. And then I also have this fair value gap where the currently market is reacting from. You can see we have filled that gap. Since we are resting at the right point, at the right place, these POIs are resting at the right place. What do we need to see? If the market gives us a 15 minutes change of character, we are going to look for sell. As simple as that. Let's look at the 15 minutes time frame. Now, from the 15 minutes time frame, now we have a problem because from the 15 minutes time frame, we don't have a break to the upside. So for me, I'm not going to use this one as a change of character here because what can happen? What can happen? Because internally, we have this one as our last BOS. All right. So we have this one as our last bullish break of structure, which swept liquidity here. All right. So markets might be coming to use this law as liquidity. All right. Let's go to the 1 hour. Market might be coming to use this law as liquidity because actually it's our liquidity because for me, this is just one move from this low up to this high. All right. So this is just one movement. The last internal break of structure was around this area. Okay. So market might be coming to this fair value gap here. You have a very massive 1 hour fair value gap because what do you know or what do you expect? We know very well that the market wants to sweep the buy side liquidity comes for the next target. What is the next target of liquidity? Of course, the sell side liquidity, which is this low. So I'm anticipating that the BTC will be coming to sweep this low. Maybe come to this area. All right. If we get a confirmation from this area, I'm going to take that buy. All right. But this trade now will be a very risky trade because one, this is a counter trend because don't forget, the trend of the market is very bearish because of this last break of structure. And the market has already traded to the premium. So trying to buy from this area is very risky. All right. All right. But if the market will give me a strong confirmation here, I'll take that short-term buys, at least for the market to come to this area. And then we look for selling opportunity from this 4-hour supply zone up here. But if by any means the market will continue pushing down, violate this zone, come and give us a break of structure. Now it means we'll have a new BOS. and we'll just continue following what the market will be doing. So that is it on BTC. We are very bearish, right? So if you have to look for a very good trade, it should be a sell. All right, a sell is the best trade because the market has already traded to the premium. So you need to wait for a very good confirmation. If, for instance, the 15 minutes time frame had that break of structure here, and then we close below this low, giving us a change of character, I'll be looking for that selling opportunity. But currently, this one is very risky, and I don't use this kind of confirmation. I need to see a structure being broken and then a change of character. But if you use this one as your confirmation, if you use this one as a break and then you are waiting for this one to give you a change of character, you have to be very careful with that selling opportunity. All right. So if I can advise, so if you get that break to the downside and then the market pulls back, just go to the 5 minutes time frame and wait for that confirmation before you took any sell. Wait for a second confirmation before you took a sell. Because don't forget, I've told you, market can come to this demand zone and then buy this fair value gap from the 1 hour time frame and then engineer the buy movement to come and take this eye, come to this supply zone, and then you look for selling opportunity from that area. All right. So as at now, we have nothing to trade on BTC. You have to be very patient and wait for the market to give you a good opportunity for you to trade. Moving to the next pair, which is going to be gold. So what is happening on gold? For the gold traders, let's go to the daily time frame. So looking at the daily time frame, what can we tell, guys, what is currently happening? So let me clean my chart and let's do this together. Let's clean that part. We saw that gold came to this resistance support zone down here from the weekly time frame. If you go to the weekly time frame, we have this zone here is our resistance zone, our support zone. Gold traded to that area. All right, and we are seeing multiple rejection from that area. Now, when you go to the daily time frame, looking at the daily, this is our last internal break of structure. And we said until the market breaks this eye, we are still bearish. That is what you said. Until the market breaks this eye, we are still bearish. We saw gold coming to this demand zone and it's reacting from that area. But looking at what is currently happening on gold, I can see that gold is very consolidating. You see the gold has been ranging for a while now inside this zone. You see now, and if I can advise now, we need to be very patient with the gold and wait for a gold to be out of this range. Either we break to the downside or we break to the upside before looking for any trading opportunity. Because what is currently gold doing is trying to trap traders. Gold is trying to trap both buyers and sellers. All right. So because I can say that gold is building liquidity on both sides. It's building the buy side liquidity as it also building the sell side liquidity. And when you're having this kind of a scenario, market can explode to either direction. We don't know which direction the gold is going to go next because we don't know whether this support zone is going to push this market high or this supply zone is going to push this market down. So the best kind of trade that you should wait for is for the market to give us the direction that he wants to go. Either we break out of this range to the downside or we break to the upside before looking for any trading opportunity. But for those who don't want to be that patient enough, let's look at the lower time frame. Looking at the lower time frame, what are we seeing gold doing? We had this internal change of character around this area from the 1 hour time frame. So market came to trade from this demand zone, right? So we have that demand zone. So this was the last internal break of structure to the downside. Later on, we saw gold giving us a change of character here. So we have a market structure shift to the upside. So after that, remember we were waiting for gold to come to this area, that demand zone, of which we are seeing gold traded to that demand zone. And looking at the internal of the full back, this was the last internal BOS. And since we failed to break this eye, are you seeing market failed to break that eye? Instead, it did sweep liquidity. We have the buy side liquidity being swept. So once we see the market sweeping the buy side liquidity, so what do you expect, guys? We expect the market to come for the sell side, which is this low. So there is high chances that gold might come down to take out this low. All right. So gold, there is high chance that the gold might be coming down to take out this low. because since the market has failed to break this high, instead it has swept liquidity and it's showing an indication of going down. So there is high chance that the gold will be coming to take out this low. So let's go to the lower time frame and see. So from the 1 hour time frame, we have the market sweeping the buy side liquidity coming to give us an internal change. Let's go to the 15. I want to see whether we had a break first of all. We don't have a break to the upside here. All right, but what are we seeing? We are seeing the market sweep this fractal liquidity. We also have fractal low here before coming to sweep the high, and then internally came down and gave us an internal change of character here. We have a internal change of character here to the downside. All right, so we have an internal break of structure here. So what are we seeing? Gold came to this supply. After trading that to that supply, what are we seeing? Let's go to the 15 minutes time frame. So from the 15 minutes time frame, this was the last bullish BOS, which is also a strong break of structure. All right, because it swept this liquidity first before coming to break the high. Later on, we see the market giving us the internal change of character. We have that internal change of character. So what are we seeing? Gold came to sweep this liquidity because since we have no area to mark, let's see from the 1 hour. Even from 1 hour, we have nothing to mark. So I can use this one as my liquidity. So gold has swept that liquidity already, and it's now giving us that selling opportunity. So are we going to start selling gold blindly, guys? Of course not. We're not going to sell, that is liquidity of the sweep of that high. Also, again, the gold failed to give us a break to the upside. So we don't have a break. So what are we seeing? We have this break here. Do we have a valid pullback in the first place? Let me see whether we have a 3 candlestick. You see now here we don't have a 3 candlestick. So this becomes a fractal break of structure. That is why we have a fractal break, fractal change of character. Market has come to break this high. So for this example now, I might use this one as my change of character. We have this one as a sweep of liquidity first. We have market sweeping the sell side liquidity and then came to sweep the buy side liquidity here. We have buy side liquidity being swept. So if gold will push down to give this break to the downside, I will use this one as a change of character. All right. So I'm going to put an alert here. We have this low here. We put a line. We have that low. I'm going to put an alert from that area. So once we break this low, I'm going to use that one as my change of character. I wait for a pullback and then I'll be taking my selling sell to the downside because I can see this will be my breaker block. All right, this will be my breaker block because already you can see the market has closed below that zone. So if we break this low, we'll get a change of character. I'll be expecting the market to come to these areas and then I will be looking for my selling opportunity from that area. I will have that one as my point of interest, and I will also have this fair value gaps above here. So it means now I will also be looking for change of character from the 5 minutes time frame before looking for any selling opportunity. So if you don't want to wait for gold to push all the way down and give us that break that we have seen from this area, you can still trade this one. If you have this change of character, that means the market is respecting this internal change of character, and then we'll be looking for that selling opportunity because we are anticipating for a market to come and take out this low. All right. According to the analysis that we have from the 4 hour, that is, we have a sweep of buy side liquidity and we are anticipating the market to come and take out the sell side liquidity. So be watching for this zone and see if the gold is break this low, because looking at the kind of momentum that we are getting, it shows that the sellers are really in control. But until we break this low, we have nothing to trade. All right. So until we break this low, we have nothing to trade as at now. So that is it on gold. I don't think I have anything on the other pairs. So because tomorrow is on Wednesday, if I see any update, I might also come tomorrow and make another video or on the update. So stay tuned. In case I have something to analyze tomorrow, that is, I know there are those people who are waiting for me to do analysis on Audi USD, NAS 100, I'll do them tomorrow if I see something to trade. So, and maybe if you want to learn all this one-on-one, I do run a private mentorship. So if you want to join, because we are beginning now the August mentorship. So if you want to join us on this month, you can really look for the contacts on the description of this video. Come to WhatsApp, and also the charges for the mentorship are also there. So if you are ready and willing to join the mentorship, you can really text me on WhatsApp and I will guide you on how to join. So guys, again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly, I urge you kindly make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified immediately I upload a new video. So until next time, it's a bye bye for now. I wish you a very wonderful trading week. Bye bye.